Welcome back to Explaining Everything, the channel where we dive into the stories and mysteries behind everyday things. Today's question comes from one of our curious viewers. I am Winter01. Thanks for the suggestion, Winter. You asked, where does tap water come from before it reaches our homes? And honestly, it's a great question. Most of us just turn on the faucet and expect water to magically appear like a gift from the plumbing gods. But have you ever wondered how it gets there? Is there a secret underground river? A team of tiny water fairies working 24/7? Or is big water just keeping secrets from us? Today, we're breaking down the incredible journey of tap water, from nature through some intense cleaning, all the way to your glass. So, grab a drink of tap water, obviously, get comfy, and let's dive into the fascinating world of waterworks, right here on Explaining Everything. So, where does tap water come from? The short answer is lakes, rivers, underground wells, and reservoirs. The long answer, it depends on where you live. But one thing is for sure. Your water didn't just spontaneously appear in your pipes. It started somewhere in nature, probably chilling in a lake, river, or deep underground like it was in hibernation mode. If you live in a city, your water likely comes from a nearby river or reservoir. If you live in a rural area, it might come from a well that taps into an underground aquifer. And if you live on a deserted island and are somehow watching this, well, first of all, impressive Wi-Fi. Secondly, you're probably drinking rainwater or coconut juice. The point is that your water has been on a long journey before it even thinks about coming out of your faucet. But before that happens, it has to go through some serious cleaning. Because let's be real, nobody wants to drink water that's been hanging out with fish, mud, and who knows what else. All right. So, we've established that your water started its life in some natural source, but before it reaches you, it has to pass the ultimate hygiene test, also known as water treatment plants. Here's what happens. Filtration boot camp. First, water is screened for large debris. We're talking about leaves, sticks, fish, and that one sneaker someone mysteriously lost in the river. This is like taking out the big chunks before making soup, except way less delicious. Chemical magic. Once the big stuff is gone, the water is treated with chemicals like chlorine and ozone. Think of it as a spa treatment, but instead of getting glowing skin, the water gets rid of bacteria, viruses, and tiny microorganisms that could ruin your day. The settling stage. Tiny particles in the water start to clump together and sink to the bottom. It's nature's way of saying, you don't belong here. More filtration. The water passes through layers of sand, gravel, and sometimes even charcoal to remove any lingering impurities. It's like the water is going through a multi-step skincare routine, except instead of hydration serums, it's just more filters. Final touches. Before it leaves the treatment plant, the water gets a final dose of disinfectant, usually more chlorine, to make sure it stays clean on its journey to your home. At this point, the water is fresh, clean, and ready for action. But how does it get to your house? Now comes the part that nobody thinks about. The insane network of pipes that move water around. Imagine a giant hidden superhighway beneath your feet. But instead of cars, it's full of H2O zooming around at high speeds. Most cities have a massive network of underground pipes that carry clean water from treatment plants to homes, businesses, schools, and anywhere else people need it. Some of these pipes have been in place for decades, maybe even over 100 years. So, yeah, your tap water has been traveling through some vintage plumbing. But how does the water move through these pipes? Great question. Gravity. If your city is lucky enough to have a water source at a high elevation, gravity does most of the work. Water flows downhill, straight to your tap, like nature's own plumbing hack. Pumping stations. If gravity isn't on your side, giant pumps step in to push the water through pipes and up into water towers. Water towers. Ever seen those big, awkward-looking water towers in small towns? They're not just for decoration. They store water at a high point, creating pressure that helps push it through the pipes when needed. Once the water finally reaches your house, it enters your home plumbing system and waits patiently for you to turn on the tap. And that, my friends, is how water completes its epic quest from nature to your kitchen sink. In developed countries, tap water is highly regulated and regularly tested to make sure it's safe to drink. In some places, it might taste a little weird, looking at you well water with extra minerals, but it's still totally fine to drink. That said, not all tap water is created equal. Some older cities still have lead pipes, which can be a problem, and in some parts of the world, tap water isn't safe at all. So bottled or filtered water is the way to go. If you're ever unsure, you can always filter your water or check with your local water department to see what's in it. But in most cases, tap water is one of the safest, cleanest, and most convenient drinks around. So, next time you fill up a glass of water, remember, it's been quite the adventure. From a lake or river, through an intense cleaning process, traveling through miles of pipes, and finally reaching your home, tap water is the hardest working thing in your house. Aside from your Wi-Fi router, of course. Water is something we often take for granted, but without it, civilization as we know it wouldn't exist. So here's to the unsung hero of our daily lives. Good old H2O. If you like this video, hit that like button and subscribe. Also, if you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for tuning in, and join us next time here in the channel that answers all the why, what, who, where, and how questions you've always wondered about, here on Explaining Everything.